way. I try to just lash it out through writing down, trying to express my feelings and emotions via writing. And if actually you've had the chance to go through my book, you get to see that it's not just me trying to play with big grammar, big vocabulary. This is like a real stories that I've tried to like express through poetry. They are authentic as you can see and you can feel and you can relate to it. So this is just me just trying to from the last 3 decades I've spent in life, I try as much as possible to like document my journey, my feelings, and where I'm from, how I see nature, how we as human has treated nature itself, how well are we practicing sustainability, because one of my values has been like being environmental conscious, and that is something I always look out for any company I want to work for, right? Because I want to see what is like their value system like. Is it, do they really care for nature? Do they really care for the environment and all? And that gives me a good balance in my own values. So once that is aligned, it makes it very easy for me to fit in. And lastly, like Inalé also is a story that cut across every facet of our lives. Like I mentioned earlier, in our environment, it also touches more on my interactions with people, my life experience, heartbreaks, love, romance, and also at a larger extent, like me just trying to like make some postulations about life generally, just like a philosopher would always do. And I try to also point out some of our societal issues that we tend to throw a blind eye to. At the end of the day, like Inalé, the book cut across different parastatals or perspective of life, as you can see. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for that wonderful description. And I don't know how many of us have actually gone through the book, because if you have, you would relate to what Williams just shared with us. Truly, Inalé is not just focused on one aspect of life, and that's what makes it really interesting. I mean, you went from talking about the world to talking about man's struggle and his cognitive dissonance, to talking about love, lack thereof, to talking about roots. You know, you really span through nearly every facet of life, and it's really interesting how you manage to weave all of that together. But one thing that I have been trying to figure out and I haven't managed to figure out is why Inalé? I mean, why did you choose that to be the name of the book?
Okay, for me, for whatever thing I try to do, right, I try as much as possible to like relate it to back home, right? And coming from a minority or a minor ethnic group in Nigeria, because I hail from Benue State, Nigeria, north central part of Nigeria, and also the Idoma tribe. We are not really much, right? And for me, at every opportunity, I tend to find myself that comes my way. I try as much as possible to relate it to my root, because we, as Africans or the African continent, we are very rich in our folk tales, our folklores and all. And I relate very well to that. And aside me just being who I am, I think I have an identity, I have a root. And Inalé is a very deep word, has a very deep meaning. And coincidentally, my youngest brother name is Inalé. So the full meaning of this is Inalé, Babulule in Idoma language, which means one who has survived the challenges and the trials of life, and he still sees himself ahead of others, standing tall, right? He's a victor, he's a survivor, right? Like he has been able to go through life ups and downs, and he's still standing tall. So at the end of the day, at this phase of my life, and I'm looking back, looking from where I'm from, where I was raised, like growing up, I never imagined myself like or seeing myself where I am today, right? And if not for the strong discipline invested in me by my parents, right? And imagine a young lad growing up in a barracks, right? Not even provided with the right resources, the right environment to be able to thrive. But then that didn't really deter me from who I always try to want to be in life. I got inspirations from people that have gone before me, right? And also one thing that really helped me growing up was my association with friends, right? And I was able to be able to select good friends who were able to help me grow up and get access to the right resources at the end of the day. But looking at where I'm from, if someone would see me that I'm this person that I am today, it's like an unbelievable story. So from my generations and going forward, we try as much as possible to make a difference wherever we find ourselves as a barrack boy, right? Because there's this stigma to that we don't have a future, and we are very stubborn, we are very rugged, and it got to a point that it was even difficult for those before us to be able to even get good jobs after school and all. But that's part of life and what the society has designed for us. So Inalé for me is me making a bold statement that regardless of whatever or wherever you're from, right, you can still make something good out of it. So, like I said, Inalé has a root to my language, to where I'm from, and I would always try to associate and relate back home. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, 100%. So, interestingly and coincidentally, we come from similar roots. I was born and brought up in Otobo, Benue State. So I see myself mostly as an Idoma boy, and it's actually a lot easier for me to relate as an Idoma boy than as an Igbo boy. And not to mention also a couple of times that I also lived in the barracks back home in Nigeria. So I just want to touch on some points going back to William's first introduction. Writing something that comes from within, but more importantly, paying close attention to things happening around your environment. It's not something that you see a lot these days, especially with all the distractions that we have all around us, coupled with social media platforms and everything just happening really, really fast. So it's so easy that one can actually just lose touch of who they truly are and where they come from and just completely forget their roots. So I really see a powerful message in the book, but more importantly, just the being able to, regardless of how one was brought up, the environment and everything that was said and done, to go past that stage and not just be like, hey, I have passed this stage and that's it for me. Just, I don't know, take it from here to wherever. But you're still able to relate back to your root and also give the people something that you are not only just not just a figure for your younger ones, but also an inspiration to those around you, because yes, they see you, they relate back to your root, but when they look at you, you're completely different. An example that one can just look forward to. So I can relate to all William's points. Going back to the root, coming from, say, minority sector, whatever that means. I don't actually believe that there's anything as a minority in the first place, because at the end of the day, we are just all we come from the world, yo. um, and but again, it's something that happens in the society, and we cannot just deny that fact for sure. It's always good to mention it and say, hey, regardless, this is who I am today, and I'm proud of who I am, proud of how far I've come. But most importantly, that yo guys back home, look at me today, believe in yourself, and then pay attention to your environment and everything that's happening around you.
Well, Mike, I had no idea that you had similar backgrounds. I mean, it makes sense that you connect with that a lot deeper than the rest of us would. So that's a wonderful point to touch on. Williams, back to you. I would love to talk a bit more about your background. I noticed that in the book you dedicated an entire section to your family. And I feel that this was a huge part of why you've achieved what you've achieved today in the literary sense. So is there anything you'd like to add about that?
Well, I think for me, one of my values is like being family oriented, right? No matter, like, okay, this now reminds me of this song. It's tied to Jerusalem. It says, no matter where you go, remember the road that leads you home, right? So no matter how far we travel, no matter how long distance we tend to see ourselves, right? Family is one core of our existence. And for me, family is everything, right? It got to a point that I was losing it all, right, in my life. And yeah, one time, yeah, in the abroad and all, there are so many challenges that comes with relocating and all. And at that point in time, like, it was very crazy for me. And all I could do was to, like, no, I had to drop everything, leave everything, and like, no, it's time to go home. Because at the end of the day, right, family is where love begins and never ends, right? Your family would always be ready to welcome you no matter what. So for me, I give more precedence and attach more value to my family. So that's why I try as much as possible to, like, having come out from such family. They literally are the reason why I am who I am today, right? And for me, I carry it as an emblem, right? And I try as much as possible to say, no, this is my debut book, right? Let me for once dedicate a session to them, because they've been the one that have, right, stand with me through thick and thin, and I think they deserve it. It's not like I think, they actually deserve it. And it's a chapter very precious and very emotional to me, for me to be able to, like, be able to express how I feel about them and try to, like, dedicate that series to them, because they are close. They are always and forever will be close to all my palpitating hearts. Thank you.
Honestly, I love how you use the phrase that you used in the book, Chef's Kiss. Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty of the matter. You have written a lot of poems, right? So, which of the poems was the most difficult to write? Or did they all come easily to you? And averagely, how long did it take for you to come up with the entire piece and each of the pieces?
Okay, let me take your first question. Which of the poems were difficult for me? I would say I actually don't have a defined writing creative process, right? It comes in naturally, right? Just for you to know, the first time I picked up a pen to write my first poem or poetry, right? There and on, I was able to write down three different poetry, right? So for me, it's like a natural, easy flow and process. I think, or I know I'm good with words, right? And it comes in easy and natural for me. It's just for me to put myself in that moment, try to imagine myself in a particular kind of scenario, right? And I'll be able to scribble words that aligns that and perfectly describe that scenario situation. So to answer your question, there was actually no poem that gave me that difficulty, right? It comes in handy and natural to me. I don't necessarily need to force it. Then, secondly, if you're requesting, if you're asking how long it took me to embark on this project to publish a book, it took me a year to start working on publishing the book. But for writing of these poems that you see today, I've been writing for the past like 8 to 10 years now. That's like I started writing like when I was in 200 level, yeah, in University of Ilorin, studying microbiology then. So that was like, let me put things, that was like roughly 2013, right? That I started writing, yeah, and I took it very serious and all, yeah. And also my one thing that I missed out in my introduction also was that I was inspired to write the by my colleagues back then in my bachelor's degree in my department, because I had these three friends, Omotade, Olaide, and also Blessing Akinyefa. These guys write so well and all, and coming to join the clique and everything, I was like, what am I bringing on, right? Am I going to be able to match on with this guy's intellect and all? Because for me, I try as much as possible to try to first self-assess myself. Like if I'm striking a friendship or I want to be in friendship with somebody, I try to look at, okay, how can I help this other person that I want to be a friend? What am I even bringing to the table? As like we normally ask when we want to go to a relationship with someone that would feel like we'll love and all, right? So I asked myself, I can't be among this clique of friends, right? And I actually don't know how to express myself with words and all. So that really changed my thoughts around trying to venture into writing and poetry per se. And while I wrote my first three poems and all, because I took that as a challenge, and I showed it to them when we resumed from the long semester break, and they were like very amazed to see that I could come up, right, with such words. And so like all thanks to them, right, because they inspired they sowed the seed in me, and this is something that has bettered a book after like over 13 years now. So that's like the journey, right? The journey didn't really just started. It started with like getting some inspiration from friends, and today it has bettered Inalé. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, I like how you went around telling us exactly where your inspiration came from. And this actually leads me to another question. You didn't write some of these poems alone, you wrote with someone else, if I'm right. Someone called Oluwatosin. So can you tell me a bit about that collaborative process? How was the experience like? What was the motivation to write with someone else? And how did the finished products, encapsulate what you had in mind at the beginning?
All right. Funny how it looks like. Every poem you see on Inalé reminds me of a specific or an exact situation I was, right? Oluwatosin is a very good friend of mine. She's also a Barak girl, we all grew up in the barracks, right? So, and if I remember, the title of the poem I collaborated with her on was "A Woman at Down," right? And she's also my contact on WhatsApp also, and here on LinkedIn, right? But went to the same secondary school, yeah, Commanding Secondary School of Joe Barracks. And so she has been like a long time friend. Yeah, she's one like someone very close around my cycle. So on this day, I was just going through like WhatsApp status regularly, and I saw her post the first. I think let me quickly go through the book. I think she had the second verse also of the woman are down. Sorry, just give me a moment. Let me so that I know. I actually know what I'm talking about. That should be under echoes. Larison. Yeah, but this is digital version. Yeah. Well, I have like a hard copy of it too. Echoes. Yeah, it's on Echoes. Yeah, a woman at down. So she asked like the first verse. Now when I saw it on our like on our WhatsApp, and it's good if you permit me to read it quickly. Get up, wears a new skin, rainbows with hot pink, plates a fresh mind with love's wool, spread corals and ammonite as she makes the day become ours. With that verse, it's just take me through like a moment where I try to remember. I had to picture my mom, right, and seeing how like she takes proper time in trying to like gets up as early as possible to try to prepare us, and also try to like prepare herself for work as early as possible. And I was like, no, I need to like take it up from there and finish what she started. And I was like, okay, rising up on her feet, bracing up to her goals with an unflinching momentum, always on track to defy the odds. She smiles with all joy with an angelic gesture, a gesture that brightens the day, full of warmth that blesses the land, right? So it's just me just trying to like reflect on the struggles or the daily struggles of womanhood, right? That has to do with them trying to ensure that like the family is well put together, regardless of the fact that they still needs to like take care of themselves and also go a bit about like their own daily activities and all. So seeing that just inspired me that okay, I'm all for like collaborating with her. And once I like drafted that and all, I sent it to her and she was like, wow, she really liked it. And I told her when it was time for me to like put up all the poems together, I had to reach out to her. Hey Tosin, I would like to add this poem to the book just to seek her consent, right? So she was like, oh no, yeah, I should go ahead with it. And that was like a beautiful backstory around a woman at dawn. Yeah.
I wanted to just go back a bit to the whole writing process, just to also understand from Williams how he was able to manage everything he wrote. I call them the scripts that he wrote over the years, back home in the uni, traveling from Nigeria to Germany. How did you manage to keep all of them till now? I find that to be a very valuable insight also for other upcoming writers. Funny story, I wouldn't call myself a writer, but back then, many years ago, I was writing my own story. And in a very analog way, I must tell you, I was writing it, on paper, pen and paper. And I would carry that book with me all along, just writing stuff where I grew up. Of course, not like in the poetry version, but like like storybook, novel, and this kind of stuff. Back then in the uni, I think I'm someone who's very expressive when I write. although I find it quite time consuming, but I enjoy writing it. So, I was just writing about myself growing up, the little girls, the trauma, everything, not my trauma, their drama and stuff. But somehow I lost everything. I think about it today, it drives me crazy, it makes me feel bad. Um, at some point, I transitioned from the analog writing to digital version. Funny enough, I still have the analog version. I'm a keeper. I keep stuff. If you come to my place, I go with all my books back from uni. Then I moved from Nigeria to Germany with all my books. Not like I'm gonna read these books, but I can't throw these things away. Books from uni and all that, my project, this and that. And then also, I used to keep a diary. I still have this diary till now. I enjoy just going back and reading things I've written about myself, things that happened around me. But then somehow, the digital version, which was more like a good composition of the book, I recall sending it to a friend back in South Africa just to like read a review. I had no idea what I was trying to do with that book, but I was just writing my story. And that email address, I managed to get access to it, but it's not in the sent messages anymore. And I remember that was the only email address I had. I mean, I'm talking about maybe, I don't know, 20 years ago or so, for sure. And I don't have access to that book anymore. I just have the analog version, which I have, which is like diary and stuff. And then that email address, the stupid Yahoo Mail email address, I don't know if they deleted my sent messages, which it feels very bad. But I'd like to understand from you, how did you manage to keep everything over the years and just move around with it and finally made sense out of it?
I think now I remember, like, I started building up into writing from just writing and philosophy, life, and generally just like a aspire to acquire. You understand? And I was very big on Facebook then. Like, I write things down sometimes, just general write-ups, and also like um, poetry on Facebook, right? And for me, because I've been opportune to be in several leadership positions growing up and all, so I felt like I need to educate or enlighten my audience in terms of like leadership, poetry, and when I eventually like ventured into like poetry and everything, I just had to continue from Facebook, drop it down there, and also on Instagram too. So I document and write my poem, post in a way just to like inspire people, just share my expressions and feelings to people, right? So bulk of the poem was on Instagram and Facebook, right? If you can go, I think I've already archived them. So when I started like wanted to publish this, I had to like archive those poems and all, right? But then I started putting them online, some in my Microsoft folder, right? Some in my email drive, my Google Drive, and everything. And funny enough, like my longest email, that like the second longest email that like I can still have access to it, and also that really came in handy for me to like be able to like get all these places. So I made use of Facebook, Instagram, my Microsoft Doc or Google Doc, and also when I finally I got an iPhone, I continue with the note on iPhone, and I already sync it automatically to like back it up with the iCloud and all. So it was easier for me to go around all these places to like be able to merge all these. One interesting part is like after publishing all these things and everything, I now discovered that there were also some few poems I didn't really like add to it. So I still got some like couple of poems like still lying around that I didn't actually see, right? So, but at the end of the day, right, it's me just trying to utilize the benefits of technology or tap into like the technology wave at an early stage and be able to like use that to my own benefit. So that's how I was able to be able to like collate. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And for your maybe and for your copy that is, if you can get access to like your emails, I think you could still be able to like retrieve it because I don't think there's any Google policy or data retention policy that says a particular data will be deleted. Okay. Yeah. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Trio. Or just like yeah. Idea, yeah. I get it. Yeah. Hopefully. Yeah. I know, right? Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Fingers crossed. Mm-hmm. Well, okay, just a quick thoughts backwards. Tell our story. While writing Tell Our Story, right? I was actually in love with someone, right? So this is just me just trying to like be in that moment and express my feelings about how I feel about this person at that particular part of my life, points in time in my life, right? So that is just an expression of how I feel while I was with that person, and I practically had to like, and also some part of it was me just making a form of like an assurance, like a reassurance to her and everything, right? Then the aftermath of that, right? That's like the breakup, right? They serve me breakfast at the end of the day after I've gone through my dilulu, like the Gen Zs would call it, right? So the aftermath of that was bettered telling series, right? This is just me just trying to like encourage myself, right? That regardless of whatever that I've gone through, like I'm still here and there's still an opportunity for me to still cheer myself up, and there will definitely be the one out there for you. You just need to like be yourself, be a man, get yourself, just focus on your personal development. Try to like focus more on self-care, your self-esteem, your self-confidence, and try to like cut that aspect of self-doubt, right? Because that is one thing I battle with. But now I would say like with the experience and everything I've had, like with encounters with different people at every point in life, both like when I was in love or my relationship, right? It has redefined the kind of person I am, how I see life and all. So telling series is just me just trying to like talk from the point of a male figure, trying to inspire like any man out there that is going through, or any guy out there that is going through on two hardships, regardless of what the society has defined for us as guys, right? the boy child and what have you. We all have our struggles, we all have our lapses and all, but then at the end of the day, we have to make a good thing out of it, regardless of whatever that is being thrown at us or whatever outbreaks or betrayals we tend to pass through, right? Because they say, what don't kills you makes you stronger. Yeah. So that's like it. That's the backstory around Tell Us series and some other few love poems, yeah, that I wrote down. Yeah, yeah, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And the future. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Mm, yeah, yeah, yeah. Hmm. Okay. Hello, yeah, yeah, we missed it. We can hear you now. We lost you a few seconds. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, for me, they say white goes a long way, right? And since I know that, like, I'm good with words and all, like, and a way of trying to appreciate one, maybe friends during their birthdays and all, right? And I try to use acoustic as a way to like express how I feel and also my best wishes to them, right? So this is not just something I just throw around, right? You must actually merit it for me to go on that journey to be able to pen that out for you, right? So it's just like a gift from me to you, trying to use your name, your initials, your complete full name to be able to paint or scribble a poem that is worthy of your being to you and how far I feel like you've been of a personality to me, right? So that's how I practically go with that. So the first one was dedicated to a colleague of mine in my work because this person has her name is Ibukun Grace. We're working at because I worked as a quality assurance specialist in a food agro allied company in Wakot Limited in Nigeria before traveling, right? And at some point we had some challenges with people on the production floor, with my supervisor there and all, and having a colleague like in a Nigerian working environment that nobody cares about what you feel or your emotions and everything and all, like this is one person that always like, no, you got this, just go get it, like just trying to cheer you up and as a colleague. And when it was time for her birthday, this is just my only two way to like possibly express how I actually tend to like are felt with the kindness, right? Because I'm also big on kindness as a value proposition from me, right? And I try as much as possible to like just appreciate her. And the second one was is Ajeni Fuja Tosin. Yeah, the Tosin I told you that we collaborated to with. Also, she has. I think while I was talking about explaining about the old military stuff, I mentioned earlier that I lost someone too. This is someone like practically I can call her my sister. Her name is late Edache Blessing. Yeah, we practically started life together. They took us growing up as kids to kindergarten. We went to the same primary school, was in the same class in secondary school. She went for her uni. I went to my uni. We reconnected after she joined the military and all. And both Tosin and my late sister also, like we were very close. Like my sister and Tosin were besties, right? So when she died, and it was really like a turnaround for me because we practically grew up together back in the barracks. Our mother was like my mother because when my mom goes to work, it takes us to their place to stay for long holidays. We spent time together, and when she passed away, we went for her burial. This lady had to like travel all the way from like Ondo State to Benue State to give her that last respect and all. And after that, like she had to try to fulfill or fill that vacuum. My sister, my late sister, like left and was like, from time to time we try to like check in on ourselves and try to like sometimes we talk about the memories we had all together growing up, and we gush into tears and everything. We just try to cheer ourselves up. So like she forms an integral part of me, and when it was time for me to do this, and like during one of our birthdays, that's when I like just had to like send this to her, and I see that she's very serious with life, with her life, career mindset, hardworking lady, and yeah, and I was actually really kind of proud of her as a friend, and also this is just me just trying to dedicate my own way of trying to dedicate how appreciative I am, or encouraging or motivating I am to like try to like inspire and say thank you to people that are very close to me and very dear to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I just would like to talk a bit about the sponsor of this event. So it's the sponsor is Settling, a brand from Ojira Soft, which I am leading. Ojira Soft is a custom digital solution provider that is leading the creation of a sustainable migration ecosystem. And what that translates to in practice is exactly as going back to William's initial expression, not forgetting where you come from, being able to connect back to where you come from, where you are today, and the whole process. Because the fact remains that even if we leave our home country to settle elsewhere, the question we always have to ask ourselves is how do we make the best out of this migration experience? I want to believe that most of us here we have one migration background or another. We're potentially living in a different country. Ojira Soft, as a tech business company, is taking the lead in that direction, just to see that sustainable migration is not just in the sense of distance, so to speak, the world becoming a global village, but actually in practical sense, meaning everything all the way from how you get information to move to your desired location, how you connect with the right people, the right target audience, the right networking. If I guess Williams could also tell a bit about how we got to know each other, connected, the experience, and also how we have been very valuable friends to each other. And this is what we are fostering, to see that we continue to connect not just like-minded people together, but people that can actually help us grow. Because the truth remains, when you leave your home country to another country, the experiences are so varied, in the sense that there are people on one extreme that are having the best of experience, and then there are those on the other side that just, for whatever reason, get into the wrong connection, and it just keeps going down from there. So Settling is our flagship product. It's a social media platform that connects and informs people about migration. And our goal is that there is a focused platform that is essentially taking the lead in connecting and informing people, that people can make meaningful connections. People back home can connect with, verified users on the other side of the world where they hope to be. That people who just move abroad can also find meaningful connection with people in their location who have, the right experience, who can lead them, who can show them the way. And then even those who are settled, well experienced, there's always the question for you: what next do you want to do? I have experience working in the biotech sector for over 6 years. And then finally, luckily this year, somehow I got the opportunity not to work anymore. And now I'm working full time for myself. But before this happened, I'd already been building Odurasoft on the side as soon as I finished my master's degree. And then a couple of years later, I became official. And now it is even not just more official, but fully operational. And we can see the difference in what we're doing. This session today, again, it's one of the things which we do to see that we continue to tell the good stories about living abroad. Not just to say, hey, it's awesome living abroad, but we also tell the bad stories as well, that people can also learn from it. But overall, that's that authenticity, that practical experience, but above all, that the migration experience is worth the while. And the experience goes all the way from the beginning, which is how you get the information, the process, when you land, how you settle in, and then how you thrive, because you don't just move abroad and then settle for whatever. You thrive, you continue to grow, and as you grow, you carry others along. And this is essentially what we're preaching. So I encourage everyone, check Settling out, follow us here on our account. I think if you just search for Settling, you'll find us. If you Google Settling, you will also find us. We want to hear your story. We want you to ask questions. What are you experiencing? What are you looking for? Are you a business owner? Are you a student? Are you a content creator? What is it that drives you? If you're here today, I want to believe that somehow you connect with the diasporan community. Either you're already abroad or you hope to be abroad. And we want to connect with you.
Can I quickly cut in before you close? Yeah, just to mention an interesting story how I and Mike connected on here, right? Back in the uni, I keep hearing this name, Mike, DK Mike, because coincidentally, or as life will have it, we went to the same university, that's University of Ilorin. So back then, I think it was the year I was entering University of Ilorin, gaining admission. That's the year Mike also graduated from University of Ilorin. So I was a member of Nigerian Federation of Catholic Students, which he was also an active participating member too. So most times I go to church and everything. We have like our own room, like we normally stay chill, like come around. We keep hearing this name, and I keep hearing this name, Michael DK, and all his exploits he did back then in the uni, in the Nigerian Federation of Catholic Students, and and well, as God will have it, when I travel down to Germany and all, we have this like WhatsApp group, alumni group from NFCS Stack alumni, that's St. Thomas Aquinas Chaplaincy alumni group on WhatsApp, and I actually didn't know that it was there or so. And when I switched my number from like Nigeria into a German line, and I think 2 days later, I saw him just like wrote me, "Yo, Will, Michael DK from Stark, finished from University of Valoria." I saw that I'm in Berlin here, I'm in Germany. That can we connect? So I think meeting him, I would say the rest is history. And also for you guys to know, he has been like a pivotal part in who I am today. When you talk about my growth from the very first day we connected till who I am today, he has been the one trying to like inspire, trying to push, trying to talk me out. There were days I was devastated. Would want to give up. It would just be like, "Hey, you, come to my place, let's chill." Because it gets to a point that part of the living abroad, like one of the challenges, like you wouldn't want to have is being lonely and don't have anyone to like cheer you up, or don't have anyone that you can be able to like express your vulnerability to, right, and also talk to, right. But for me, I had the opportunity or the privilege to like talk to Mike because he reached out to me because I was in a new city, a new place. I don't really know how to navigate my way, but connecting with him, right, changed everything for me. At every challenges I had, I do not hesitate to reach out to him because I know in one way or the other he has also passed through this challenge. And I think that also inspired him to build something like settling, right? And just to add, part of settling, he also have a subsidiary that also works on helping people to legally migrate to any country in the Europe or wherever you want to go, and it's called japa.com, right? Check that out, and also you get to see what I'm talking about. And also, this is what also inspired settling to form a community whereby you can have someone to talk to, and also a way to also bridge the gap between relating with people back home that needs important information on immigration, how to get scholarship for your studies in different parts of the world. They send in different newsletters to give you that information. So try to follow them, connect with them, and definitely you see the value they are putting forward. So once again, big shout out to Mike Omwatuegu, DK, right, for being there for me right from the scratch. Big shout out to Settling, your team, for having this vision to be able to try to like build the diaspora community, and not only building that but also trying to connect with our loved ones back home or people back home without forgetting our root, because regardless of anything, we left home to also give back to home at the end of the day. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah. Gracias. Danke. Aina. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, this is also the thing about me. I feel like I've also had quite some experience here in Germany. I moved to Germany back in 2014. For those who don't know, I graduated from the University of Ilori in 2012, and then I worked for like 2 years, and then in 2014, yeah, I moved to Germany for my master's studies. I must say that I've been lucky. I've had mostly good experience in Germany, but somehow there's just this part of me that always want to give out, because when I look around me, everything I see is opportunities. I see opportunities all around me, and I ask myself, do other people see these opportunities that I see too? And beyond those opportunities that I see, there's also this drive in me to want to connect to the other person. I want to know who you are, what you're doing, what's going on in your life, you know. And yeah, just like William explained, I reached out to him when I saw the number on the WhatsApp group. I was like, yo, let's meet up. It's like, why not get to know this person? Who is he? What's up with him? And then as yeah, God will have it. You already heard about me, and then the rest is history. Um, I'm very happy about where William is today, and I'm also happy about the fact that he's also doing the same to other people as well. And this is also the driving force of our organization. I thought, hey, I don't have to just do all these things and just a low level. I could help to multiply it. I could, you know, get other people to do the same. And that's actually what gave birth to Settling. Before Settling came, we've been running Jakarta Travel, providing information and services to help people, move to work and study abroad. But then the question myself and my partner we asked ourselves is, what are we going to gain from this? That means it would always have to depend on us to do these things. So we wanted a platform that is going to help pass on this narrative. And it's really simple. Make the best out of your abroad experience all the way. Connecting with people and then just keep growing. We leave home to give back to home. But what's even more important is when you leave home, you're creating another home in that new country where you are. And it has to be a safe home for you. So again, we connect with ourselves here to give ourselves a beautiful home. So yeah, thank you, William, for that nice story. And thanks to everyone who is here. I'm happy to connect with all of you so we get to know each other better and we just keep, doing the good works. I'd like to thank everyone for joining the conversation today. And also another congratulations to Williams for pulling off everything. Maybe for those who do not know, there was actually a physical event in Berlin a couple of, was it about a week ago, right? Yeah. 1 week ago in Berlin, it was live. I'm sure you can follow some of the highlights on William's Instagram channel. So happy that everyone also could relate to one part or the other of the story, and that collectively we are somehow related directly or indirectly. And I think this is one of the beautiful things that we are trying to showcase here on Settling, making meaningful connections and re-establishing old connections as well, just to see that we keep helping each other to grow. I never saw this, events turning out like this, but again, you never know, and you don't actually have to overthink things. Just do it. I felt something a couple of weeks, a month ago. No, actually, long time ago, before Williams talked about publishing the book. I told him, hey, during the once you get close to publishing the book, let's link up. Let's have an online event. Let's tell about talk about the book. Make everyone hear about it. And this is only the beginning. Everything we've talked about today is recorded. We're going to publish it on our YouTube channel. We're going to make short clips out of it. We want to see that the good news, the good message continue to get to the people. This is our way of inspiring ourselves, inspiring each other. So happy to see you guys all here. Let's connect here on LinkedIn. Check us out on Settling. Feel free to create an account and tell your story, connect to someone, and let's just keep doing the good works.